How's it going, everyone? So many of you have been asking for my 4K Blu-ray collection for many years now, and I'm finally going to sit here and actually do it. I believe there's just over 130 4K Blu-rays in my collection, and I sort of got collecting into these back when the Xbox One S came out. You guys know I unboxed that 2TB launch edition console, and it was around then that I sort of made a point to actually start a 4K Blu-ray collection, because before I was sort of getting into actually just collecting Blu-rays, but it was very much casually. You know, I wasn't focused on it. I was more focused on building my actual game collection, and so I didn't really build or get a significant amount of actual Blu-rays for my collection. And so I sort of made a point to say, you know what, it's new format, 4K Blu-rays. I want to take advantage of this. I want to start building a collection for this now, back when the media format was actually just starting to become relevant. And so what I've been sort of doing over these past couple years is I've been going to these sort of year-end sales, Black Friday or any of these sort of sales that these websites do, and I buy a bunch of these movies in bulk, sort of 10, 20, or even more so at $5 to $10 each. And I've been buying and sort of building my collection that way through these movies on sale, since a lot of these movies when they release are super expensive. You know, very similar to how Blu-ray was when it released back in the mid-2000s. That was a very expensive format, and you know, now it's a lot more cheaper, and so I expect 4K Blu-rays to become much more cheaper down the line. But you know, I feel like this is a format that is going to take a long time to actually catch up. Everyone's into streaming these days. As someone like myself who's really all about the visual quality and I want the best experience that I possibly can get, this is a format that offers, you know, better than what your average Blu-ray would do, and then you also have HDR video on top of that. Now, the thing about 4K Blu-rays is that not all 4K Blu-rays are created equally. Some movies are not even 4K at all, so you'll buy these movies and they'll be actually rendered and released in 2K digital intermediates. Some of these films have like fake HDR, where it's just sort of been added in there, but it isn't like a true representation of what the format actually entails. And so it's sort of a hit or miss with the 4K Blu-ray format. You know, it's not every movie isn't on an equal playing ground, whereas Blu-ray, everything's already sort of fixed and recorded at higher than 1080p average, and so it's easy for those movies to actually, you know, look good. So yeah, I wanted to sort of go through my entire collection here. Now, I'm not going to go through every single movie and give you guys my thoughts on every single movie, because we'd be here for hours if that was the case. I haven't seen every movie in this collection. I try to at least watch a movie once a week, but sometimes, you know, life gets in the way or different things are happening, and it's just not something I can basically afford the time on. So we're going to go through all these movies, but I'm only going to share with you guys my thoughts on what I think are the standouts for this particular medium, and the ones that I think, if you're interested in purchasing some 4K Blu-rays, maybe starting a small collection, or you just want a handful of movies that show off the format very well, you guys are going to see, or hear rather, my actual thoughts on those particular type of movies that I personally recommend that you pick up for the format. Okay, so we're going to go through this one, go through these each. Again, not going to go through my thoughts on all of them, but the ones that are standout, you guys will hear at least what I think of those. So hope you guys enjoy, and thank you all very much. Alright, so the way that these are organized is alphabetical order, basically starting from the bottom up. Because of the way the shelf is sort of laid out, I've had to stack these up sort of from a vertical position here. But we're going to basically go through these, and I'm going to grab them going from the top down, because if I grab them from the bottom, it's just going to be much more difficult to sort of hand them out. So we'll start from the top here, which is the first stack. We have Bohemian Rhapsody. Next up we have Blue Planet 2. I actually highly recommend this for the 4K format. This is one of those ones that's really sort of a standout representation that goes through basically the whole ocean wildlife, and it's just really incredible. You know, especially someone like me, as I really like the sort of depths of the ocean and a lot of the plant life and stuff around there. It really showcases the HDR format exceptionally well. So if you're looking for something that's really just gonna wow you in terms of the visual representation, highly recommend Blue Planet 2. Next up we have Blade Runner 2049. This is the Steelbook, and I also have Blade Runner, the final cut, is it? Yeah, the final cut on 4K Blu-ray as well. They actually went back and did the special effects, redid the special effects for the original Blade Runner, so they actually look really, really good in HDR. This film I haven't actually seen. I saw it in theaters, but I haven't watched it on the 4K format yet. I'm so scared because I saw this in theaters and it was so mind-blowing that watching it at home, I'm just so worried it's not going to be the same experience. So I'm actually sort of waiting indefinitely until I get basically the best TV in the world and the best sound system in the world I can to watch this again, because I absolutely love this movie in the theater. But yeah, both of these. We have the Black Klansman, the Big Lebowski, Beverly Hills Cop. Haven't watched this yet. Batman vs. Superman, which I tried to get through this film 3 times. I couldn't suffer through it. I literally just gave it one chance after the other and I just couldn't make it through. So didn't really enjoy that. We have the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. All of these films are great for the format, especially the latter two, which just look incredible. These are true 4K films, and it just really wows you, especially in HDR. So I recommend definitely, if you love the Christopher Nolan Batman films, all of these are great films for the 4K format. Bad Times at the El Royale, Bad Boys for Life, Baby Driver. We have Avengers Infinity War, Atomic Blonde, Arrival. This is one of my favorite sci-fi films ever. Incredible story. I saw this in theaters not even knowing what to expect. I was just basically wasting time, so I wanted to watch a film, and a friend of mine actually said, why don't we just go watch this? And I was like, what the hell is this movie? I've never heard of it. I was sitting there crying at the end in the theater. This is a beautiful story and an incredible film. Just absolutely love it. Apollo 13. Apocalypse Now. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Annihilation. This is one of my favorite films for the format as well. Just really beautiful, and it's just a great film as well. So if you love sci-fi, you like films like The Arrival, Blade Runner, etc., you're gonna love this film. It's an incredible story, great twist at the end as well, and just awesome. So highly recommend it. We have American Psycho. Probably my favorite Christian Bale film that he's ever done. I absolutely love this movie to death. Looks gorgeous in 4K, by the way. This is a true 4K film, and great HDR effects as well. American Made. Alita Battle Angel. Have Alien Covenant, as well as the Alien 40th anniversary release that they did. I saw Covenant in theaters, liked it. I know some people don't really like this film at all, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And of course, I've seen the original Alien many times, but never watched the 4K version of this yet. So I actually want to see how it looks in 4K Blu-ray. But yeah, have those. We have Air Force One. Ad Astra, which I want to get to. I haven't seen this yet. A Quiet Place. And we have 1917. I just watched this recently and was blown away. This is one of the best war films I've ever seen. An incredible true 4K film. Amazing HDR. This is going to show off the format extremely well, and it's just a beautiful film. I mean, really horrific, but just really well done. You got Roger Deakins doing the cinematography, which just, you know, again, adds compliment to how this film looks. It's just so well done. So really highly recommend this for the 4K format. And we have 007, the Daniel Craig collection. This is all of his movies, minus No Time to Die, which isn't out yet. on 4K Blu-ray. So I own these already on Blu-ray, but haven't watched the 4K format yet, so actually want to watch this before I see No Time to Die coming out. Okay, we have Hostiles. This is one of the best Western films I've ever seen. Christian Bale again, but man, the story is incredible. You know, really, really awesome. If you like films like The Revenant, this is really, really going to blow you away, and it's a great film for the format as well. Hell or High Water. Hacksaw Ridge. This is a gorgeous film as well. The Greatest Showman. This is actually one of those movies that the 4K quality actually, I think, hurts the cinematography a little bit. And there's a few scenes where I noticed that the backdrop for this film was actually a painting, and it's just so much resolution that it actually hurts the presentation of what you're seeing on screen. You can tell when things are faked. So just kind of go at your own risk. It's still a gorgeous film, beautiful HDR, but you're going to notice some of the backdrop paintings that they use for like the sky and the city, for instance, very apparently in the 4K format, but it's still a really good film. The Great Wall. Goodfellas. Godzilla, King of Monsters. Glass. Gladiator. This is a beautiful film as well, really going to show off the format very well. Ghost in the Shell. Get Out. The Gentleman. The Great Gatsby. This film will blow you away visually. This really, really shows off the format very well. Really pinpoint sharp, exceptional color depth as well. So highly recommend this if you want something that's just gonna wow you for the 4K format. Fury. First Man. Haven't watched this either, it's still sealed. We have my Fast and Furious films so far. So I have Fast and Furious 6, which is the only film in the series I haven't seen. And then we have The Fate of the Furious. And then the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off, which I didn't really enjoy, to be quite honest, but we have that. Next up we have the Fantastic Beast movies. The first one's okay. I think the second one's a little bit better, to be honest. But now, you know, the third one's kind of like in limbo because Johnny Depp had to be let go. So these are okay films, honestly. Ex Machina. The Equalizer films. First one's an awesome film, by the way. Dynasties. I just finished watching this somewhat recently, and this is by the guys who did the Blue Planet series, and just exceptional quality. Kind of goes through basically the 5 dynasties in the I guess the wildlife kingdom, and just really exceptional cinematography and really interesting as well. So again, if you want something that's going to show off the format very well, highly recommend Dynasties. Dunkirk. Dr. Sleep. Die Hard. Dread. I wish they would make a sequel to this film. It is a great film for the 4K format and just an awesome action movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. You don't need to know anything about the character, you can just jump right in, but the special effects are just wow. So highly recommend this for the 4K format. It's a great film, great HDR, great quality and everything. Deepwater Horizon. Deadpool 2. Disney's Coco. This is a great film for the format as well. Lots of variety and just lots of colors and stuff. All these animated films really show up the format well. Central Intelligence. Alright, so we got done with the top shelf. We're going to go to the bottom one. Right here we have The Magnificent Seven. Mad Max, Fury Road. This is a beautiful film for the format as well. Great HDR. Lucy. Another great film for the format. Just, I don't really care about the movie, to be quite honest. Lone Survivor. We have Logan. Life of Pi. This is a great film for the format. So beautiful as well. This HDR will just blow you away. It's a spectacle. So highly recommend this. It's a beautiful story as well. And yeah, just a great film. Life. Lego Batman. Another beautiful film for the format. Next up we have my King Kong movies. So we have Kong Skull Island as well as Peter Jackson's King Kong. I actually watched this somewhat recently after not seeing it for probably over 10 years at this point, and doesn't really hold up, to be quite honest. But I actually really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I thought it was actually very well done and just great. So I do recommend this one at least. Knives Out. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. My Jumanji movies, so we have the reboot, I guess, of the original as well as the sequel. I enjoyed the original, but man, I fell asleep during this sequel. It was just boring to me, so we'll see how, I don't know if they're going to do a third one, but we'll see how that turns out. My John Wick films, so we got all 3 John Wick films here. All of these I highly recommend for the 4K format. The HDR is outstanding. The nighttime scenes in all these films is just exceptional, so I do highly recommend all these for the 4K format. This is the Steelbook for John Wick 3, and really excited for John Wick 4 whenever that gets released. Joker. Jojo Rabbit. Jason Bourne. It. Interstellar. This is one of my favorite sci-fi films, but I haven't watched this yet on 4K, the 4K format. So I want to get to it soon, but I'm sure it's really beautiful. It's Christopher Nolan. The Hitman's Bodyguard. And then we have my How to Train Your Dragon cartoons. The first one's still my favorite, honestly, and you know, all these films are very beautiful for the 4K format. All the animated films really show off it very well. But yeah, in terms of, I guess, what I liked in terms of the series, I think the first one's still my favorite out of all of them. Shaft. Shape of Water. This is a great film for the format as well. The Shallows. This is a beautiful film, and this was actually my first ever 4K Blu-ray I purchased, and it's just a beautiful film for the format, great HDR, so do highly recommend it. Red Sparrow. Shadow. It's an artistic foreign film, but still looks really good for the format. The Secret Life of Pets 2. I like the first one better, but this is still a beautiful film for the format. Saving Private Ryan. Rocket Man. Haven't watched this yet. The Revenant. This is a beautiful film for the format, great cinematography and lighting and all that. HDR shows it off very well. We got the Red series. These are okay. Ready Player One. Good film for the format too. Rambo First Blood. The original Predator. The Post. We have Rise of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. I want to get the second one as well. I've seen all three of these already, but haven't watched these on the 4K format, so just wait until the second film actually goes on sale, and when I notice, I'll pick it up. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Passengers. Parasite. Bought this film after a friend of mine really highly recommended it, and it won all those awards at the Academy Awards. So haven't watched it yet, it's still sealed, but want to get to it soon. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Great film. Mission Impossible. This is the Fallout, yeah, so this is the latest one, which I saw in theaters and haven't watched this yet on the 4K format. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. We have The Maze Runner Death Cure. I've seen the first one and actually liked it, and so I was thinking about picking up this series as a whole, but just waiting until the other ones go on sale. The original Matrix. Want to get the other two sequels on 4K Blu-ray as well. And then we have The Martian. Great film too. Alright, so we're moving down to the final stack here. Hope you guys forgive me, I have to sit here on the floor in order to do this. But yeah, let's just get to it. We have Zombieland Double Tap. Wonder Woman. Unforgiven. Us. The Town. My Tomb Raider films, so we got the original two Angelina Jolie films, as well as the remake based on the reboot of the video game, which I like all three. I have to say that Cradle of Life I didn't really enjoy. It's okay, but I still like the first Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider film. I still think they did a good job on that, and I actually did enjoy this one as well. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I want to get the first one as well on 4K Blu-ray. I don't know if they released the first one though. Tenet, which I just bought recently. I haven't seen this in theaters. I really wanted to. It was one of the few movies I was going to see in theaters this year, and then, you know, the virus happened, but want to get to this soon. Sully. It's actually a good film for the format as well, and amazing color depth. I think this is one of the few films that supports full 12-bit color depth as well for the format. My Star Trek films. So I've seen these already on Blu-ray and so on and so forth. I haven't got Star Trek Beyond yet, but want to get it for the format. And yeah, enjoyed these already on Blu-ray, so just want to see how the quality holds up for 4K. Split. It's a great film for the format as well. My Spider-Man films. So we got Far From Home, of course Homecoming, as well as Into the Spider-Verse. I highly recommend this, even if you're not really into Spider-Man. It's a great animated film, great story and everything, and the visuals just blow you away, especially in HDR. It's a beautiful film for the format. Snitch. My Sicario films, both of these are exceptional for the format. Really like the cinematography of the first one, but the second one's still pretty good as well. The Shining. And last we have Shazam. That was a lot of movies. So I hope you guys enjoyed my current 4K Blu-ray collection. If you guys know of any movies for the format that you recommend, definitely let me know. I'm always looking for some films that, really show off the format very well. And like I said, I pick these movies up in bulk, usually around the holiday sales or so on and so forth, when they're like $5 or $10 each. I don't really journey to the movie theater anymore. Even before the pandemic, I went to the movie theater probably 2 or 3 times a year at the most, and there wasn't really any movies that I would really be willing to go to the theater to sit down in, because not only the price was so expensive, but it just didn't make sense. I think now with the arrival of 4K Blu-rays, we have 4K TVs, we now have Dolby Atmos in the sound, and TVs that can really replicate the HDR effect exceptionally well. You can really get the movie theater experience in your home for relatively a cheap cost. It isn't so crazy and expensive these days to do it. And on top of that, what you're seeing in just basically your standard movie theater isn't as good as what you can get with something like the 4K format. So whenever I go to the movies, I always basically pay the extra to see it in Dolby Cinema, because if I'm going to go to the movie theaters, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get a better experience than what I can currently get at home. And so, that combined with the price and everything like that, just don't really go to the movie theaters that often anyway. So for me, it's just a much better investment of my money, I guess, to basically build a 4K Blu-ray collection. And, a lot of these movies are very cool. It's going to be nice to see how, sort of down the line, how this collection grows. And for now, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll talk later. Thank you very much.